Hello, my little piggies. Welcome to the first episode of I'm a Bit of an Expert, a Peppa Pig podcast. My name is Josh Chapman, and I'm your host, and your other host is on the other side of the line. It's Matt Frost.
Hi, Josh. Hi to all the little piggies out there.
How you going, mate?
I am very good. I'm very good. I've just put my little two piggies to bed, and
Same here.
the other piggies up doing homework. So, yeah.
Oh, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. So, just up front, if you downloaded this isn't this is a Peppa Pig podcast, but it's not specifically aimed for little ones. So, if you are a little one and you haven't got your mum and dad nearby, probably best to tune out. It's more aimed at parents who have to sit through Peppa Pig more than kids. So, if you are a kid, turn it off, find something else to do, pop Peppa Pig on. You probably won't find much here. But generally, the genesis of the podcast is that Matt and I are both parents with small children. We sit through a lot of Peppa Pig, and we were sort of discussing that we hadn't really heard a podcast about Peppa Pig. So we thought that we would start one, really.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, definitely for all the mummy and daddy pigs. And it's I'd call it a deep dive into the world of Peppa Pig.
That's right. Now, we know there's a lot of Peppa Pig episodes, so we're basically going back to the start. We're going to start at the first episode. We're going to go in airing order. So I know there's a lot of episodes, and if the show takes off, we'll do more. We'll probably do one a week to start with, and if it really, takes off and people want to hear more, we'll consider doing more quicker. But, it's up to you, it's out of our hands. We're just do what we can. So let's get stuck in. Basically, the first episode 1, The Phantom Menace of Peppa Pig, is Muddy Puddles. And this aired in 2004, I believe. I've just lost my little my notes here, but yep, Muddy Puddles, 31st of May 2004. So what we're going to basically do is we're going to sort of break it down for you, but the best way to start is we're going to turn to our man, Matt. Matt, what happened in Muddy Puddles?
Well, look, Josh, I'm really glad you asked that question because, Muddy Puddles is the quintessential pilot episode. It introduces our main characters, namely Peppa, her brother George, Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig. And it also introduces the key concept of the muddy puddle, which
now, it doesn't have the it doesn't seem to have the issues that, like, especially animation. Like, you watch the first episode of The Simpsons or a lot of animation, you go back to that first, you're like, oh man, it takes a while for them to hit their stride. Everything looks a bit weird. The animations, it's pretty spot on from the jump, isn't it? Really?
It is, yeah. I think when you choose to sort of run with 5 facial expressions, and you can probably nail them for your pilot, I think. So,
yeah, that's right. So what happens? What's the lowdown here?
Well, I do like that it starts very dreary. It's raining outside. There are 2 very sad little piggies inside, but then the sun comes up and the kids ask their daddy, which I thought was very interesting, that they asked their daddy whether they could go outside. Because, as we will see in further episodes, like Daddy is not Daddy is not in charge of that house.
and he kind of covers for them too, doesn't he? So we'll get to that.
He does. That's like the big the twist really at the end. But they're allowed to go outside and jump in muddy puddles, but they get told quite quickly that jumping in muddy puddles needs to be done in rubber boots, which
good lesson to have.
Yeah, and Daddy Pig probably should have. He obviously dropped the ball on that one straight away.
Yeah, he said. I mean, maybe they went to him because they knew he wasn't gonna enforce things that Mummy Pig enforces. But she comes out. She basically says, hey, you got to put your boots on if you want to jump in those puddles and things. And the thing that I noticed about this one, like, obviously this isn't the first episode we've ever watched, but we are going back to the start, is that they get way messier in this puddle than I think they ever do in a puddle.
Exactly.
They are rolling around in this puddle like it's nobody's business. It's a proper pig. They are proper pigs, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah, they are coated head to tail, head to twirly,
snout to tail,
snout to curly tail, and with quite quite a sort of greenish tinge to them. Did you pick up on that?
Do you think that like the local sewer just leaks into the? They're just rolling around in the meadows, waste and things. They've just come out looking like that.
I was thinking maybe grass stains, but you've gone quite dark on that. That's fine.
Yeah, that's where we're at. That's why I don't listen, kids. So they do. They basically they roll around. They're head to toe in mud. Then they roll into the house, and they muddy up the kitchen. Daddy Pig's like, "Don't worry, I got this." And
Did you notice too when they ask him, "What do you think we've been doing?" He does the normal dad thing of two goofy answers before the proper answer.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't actually seem that upset that the whole house is covered in mud as well.
No. What sort of dad are you? Do you do the standard two silly answers before the proper answer, or do you push it further?
Depends on what's happening. I think in the case if it was head to toe mud through the house, I probably want some answers pretty quick. I probably wouldn't be dawdling on things, but yeah, I don't mind a few fake out answers and things. I'd probably go a little bit even more ridiculous than just television. Probably things that aren't even in the, did you go to the moon or did you do something like that? But Daddy Pig seems to take it pretty well. Then he pulls out the world's tiniest cloth and gives it one wipe and wipes all the right off George's nose. And then the next shot, they're all clean.
Did you see the obvious allusion to James Cameron's Aliens in that scene?
I can't say I did.
When Ridley wipes Newt's face and says there's a little girl in there. I think a big thing that we do have to acknowledge is that Peppa Pig is standing on the shoulders of giants as far as cinematic history. And
yeah, that's right.
That was one thing that I picked up straight away.
Well, the thing is, as the show goes on, they do get a little bit more clever and a little bit more in-jokey, I think. But the fact that they managed to drop some little hints in there from the jump. So they basically get out there. Daddy Pig gives them one or two quick wipes, and he seems to miraculously wipe the kids down and wipe the house down without Mummy Pig finding out. So I don't know if there's an establishing, setting a precedent in a pilot that we got to keep Mummy Pig happy, that basically she'll crack the sads if there's mud through the house, that she's one to be avoided at all costs from getting angry.
I think so. I think Daddy Pig's clearly scared of Mummy Pig.
She rules with an iron fist.
I know I'm scared of my Mummy Pig. So,
but then of course she proceeds to run out of the house. So they all run out of the house together.
True.
Into the mud. So either hasn't noticed the mud and she's all cool, and then they all jump around the mud. But then they don't. And then at the very end they don't. They don't miss an opportunity to let Daddy Pig make a fool of himself, and he slips over and falls in the mud.
True, he did. Yeah, and did you notice the absence of the quintessential Peppa Pig line? Everybody loves jumping in muddy puddles. Wasn't there?
Yeah. There you go.
Still to come.
Still to establish. Now we have to make it very clear that we will bring up that Daddy Pig is the sort of hard done by. He's kind of the fool. He's made the fool more often than not. But that doesn't mean that we're on some kind of. We don't think there's any kind of anti-man agenda going on in Peppa Pig. We just have a little. So don't tune into this thinking that somehow we're using Daddy Pig as a metaphor or something like that, because we like to see Daddy Pig cop it as much as the next person. So don't think that's where the path is going to end up.
Oh,
so,
God no! I am Daddy Pig. He's my hero. I've been researching, the hero's journey and the monomyth and Joseph Campbell and stuff, because I'm sure Daddy Pig is on some sort of hero's journey. I just haven't quite worked out how that fits.
That's right. Well, I'm sure the more that we get into it, the more we'll figure that out. Now, we're going to keep these short and sweet because Peppa Pig, episodes only run for about 5 minutes. So how long can you really talk about other ones? But
the irony of talking about it longer than they actually run for is probably not lost on us. So. That's
right. So any closing thoughts, Matt, on this one? It's a pretty solid start. It establishes a lot of, pretty standard fare with, the family, the muddy puddles, the hierarchy in the house, the fear structure.
George gets his first crying, so getting splashed. So
of course,
that's a trope that we'll be revisiting. So solid pilot.
Excellent. All right, well, we'll put a pin in it there. We'll be moving on to episode 2 next time, which is Mr. Dinosaur is Lost. If you want to to follow us. We should have all the details in the show notes, Twitters and things. I think it's at Peppa Pig Pod, I believe, is the Twitter handle that I've already snagged. And peppapigpod@gmail.com if you want to write anything.
Make sure you write in and tell us all about your Peppers and your Georges and your mummy pigs and your daddy pigs.
That's right. Any sign off? We don't really have a sign off yet. I'm sure we'll develop one as we go. But thanks. I'll see you soon.
Very good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah, we're playing a tune and we're singing a song with a bang and a bong and a bang. Bong, bang, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo. Bong, bing, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo.